at the library on Huntington Drive. Have a mural of audio action inside the gymnasium. So I'm going to show some little history of El Sereno. I'm going to talk about myself when I was young and the art groups that I was with. So you have to bear with it. If you can't see the slide, then maybe you might want you guys want to go outside and work on your paper, on your decks if you're going to do that. So I'm going to just start over here right now. Bear with the slideshow. There you can barely see it. It's just an ink drawing, pen and ink drawing, India ink on paper when I was in high school. I was always a star artist when I was in elementary school. I was lucky that my teachers always encouraged me. My parents were always encouraging me to continue with my artwork. And we can just start the slideshow. Hopefully this projector continues working. I'm sort of going in chronological order, starting from when I was a teenager. And would you believe it, I got drafted, and I got a slideshow of myself in Germany. I was so lucky I wasn't sent to Vietnam. I kind of feel I had a blessed life. So when I came out of the service, and I was 21 years old, I was in Europe when I was 19, 20, 21. And hopefully this slide stays in order. Otherwise, I'll be jumping back and forth in my life. When I was there in Germany, they found out I was an artist. Even when I was in Texas training, I got to do. I'm gonna have to jump up. I got to do a mural in Texas for Bliss. I did murals in our Army base. So I was like the company painter. So whenever you got that talent and you let people know, they're going to come to you when they need something, if they know you're an artist. This is an interesting shot of El Sereno from the sky. And that white dot right there, that's when they were making Wilson High School. And I had got that out of the El Sereno Historical Society website. That's a really cool site to go to, because they wanted to build another school here on one of our hills on Lombardy and Eastern. They wanted to cut that little hill off. They wanted to put a charter school, and I was against that. I said, we have a lot of elementary schools here. Why do we need another charter school? So you can see. Let me make sure I don't fall off of this thing. You can see the hills of Ascot Park. So we're real lucky that we have a lot of open area, like Elephant Hills. We got a lot of open area that makes us feel like we're in our own little village here in El Sereno. So when I was in the service, I got to go to Rome, and I saw they saved everything over there. They preserved their buildings. They respected the art. And I'm thinking in Los Angeles, they knocked everything down in Los Angeles and build it brand new. This is an illustration by an architect. If anybody wants their children to be an architect, maybe, this is a scale model, a maquette. You're going on the phone? You can't control it? So we applied, me and our mural group applied for the job here at the library, at the new El Sereno library. They were just building it. So we worked with the architects, saw their plans, figured out where we would like to put our artwork. We wanted to put one outside and one inside. So we know how to make maquettes. When we design for other jobs, they want to see it in 3D. So that model, you get to make that model and make it look like the building. Then you put your artwork on it, and And that gives the judges the idea that your artwork's going to be good for their building. So, let's see on the next slide. This is a computerized illustration for the old red cars that used to come up Huntington Drive. So we did a lot of research into what was El Sereno like in the old days. Okay, this is where they used to have stables, horse stables. The rich people in Boyle Heights, they travel out here and they had their stables all through these hills. There was a racetrack right here for horses. Right here on Eastern and Huntington Drive, they had a racetrack. They had an automobile racetrack over there by Soto and Valley, over by the Hillside Village area. That was Ascot Park Raceway. That's why they call those hills Ascot Park. That raceway eventually moved over to South Central. It's a famous racetrack down there. But we had these kind of things here. Also, this was the biggest sheep ranch. And it was named after roses that grew along the creek that went through El Sereno. So when we were going to design for the Lincoln Heights Library, El Sereno, excuse me, we wanted to put historical things in it, so we went about. This is a computer illustration of that red car, but with all the windows, we put historical items in there. And then we drew characters out of the past, like an early California rancher. So we were going to do this on tile. One of the first times we're going to do a mural on tiles. This illustrates how we would divide up the total artwork in square feet. So we did silk screening on tiles, cooked it in the oven, spray painted other colors over it, and baked it again. So when you go over there, you'll see it's glass on top, it's glass on plate on the building. So if it gets graffiti, you can always wash it off with even an acid. It's not going to do anything to the glass tile. This is a three-dimensional piece that's inside the library. It's in between where the children have their area, their children's books, and then the rest of the library. And we made an archway that says "Grow," and it has a picture of the world, all the continents of the world. On the other side, it has words like inspire, communicate, different keywords that children can identify with, hopefully. I was really proud to be part of, my community and have an artwork there in the community. There you can see the dimensions. Me and my partner Wayne. Talk about children. Okay, we were young kids together. We had a teacher that really liked we were in the third grade together. She said for open house we were studying dinosaurs. So we ended up doing a butcher paper mural. Crayons, tempera colors on dinosaurs. Long Beach Freeway came through. My parents had to move. I didn't see my partner for 20 years. He went to college. He went to Cal Poly Pomona, became an engineer. He's got a master's in math. He's got a master's in engineering. And when the murals were happening, he was in Cincinnati, and he said, I told his wife, we got to go back to East LA. I want to get back into the arts. So we discovered each other after 20 years being apart. And when we met, we said, you do murals, don't you? And he's got a really great one at Ramona Gardens. these vatos locos were this big giant brick building, like sitting on the front part of a porch. My mural was at Estrada Courts. I call it Dreams of Flight. So evidently, you know, this projector's going on its own thing here. But what we're looking at, for those of you right here in front, this is a computer-generated background image, and we're going to put our design onto it. So we start with layers. So I learned to work with Photoshop. Even in my old age, I said, I'm going to give me a computer. Actually, computers took my job away. I used to be a furniture illustrator for newspapers. So like, hardly anybody buys newspapers anymore. So I eventually lost that job, but I was able to pay for my house up here on La Calandria Drive, making money as an advertising artist, but at the same time I always did the street art. So I had my foot in the murals, and I'm in many books. They have thick favorite pieces and they like to reproduce them quite a bit. But there's a picture of me as a 20-year-old at St. Peter's Square in Rome. So, you know, traveling really opened my eyes. I went to Rome, I went to Barcelona, traveled all around Germany in the train. When I came back to the States, we started our first a gallery in East LA with two brothers. I went to Salesian High School. My mom always wanted us to keep out of the gangs, so her remedy was put them in Catholic school. So nine of us in our family went to Catholic school. But with Johnny, another one of my friends, we traveled to Mexico. Eventually you'll see me in a picture standing in front of the Great Pyramid of the Sun. But this is a sketch. One of my partners, he's so good at pencil sketching. We would scan that and then transfer it over to that background design. Once you can, you know, understand, maybe you're going to get an iBook in school or iPad, or maybe your parents are lucky enough to get you a computer, and someday you might be fortunate enough to get good applications, you know, like Photoshop, Illustrator, and you can get classes. You know, you go to community school and you can take classes here on computers. So on this one rendering, you see we're starting to add our different sketches to our design. So we were focused on a graduate, a young lady graduating from high school. She's holding her diploma. So in this state, the difference between those lines, and now we're starting to shade, starting to make all these shapes. There was a time when I did everything with colors and on illustration board, like watercolor sketch, and you could do a mural from those sketches. You wanna, if you're doing your board outside, you can go with your idea from your mind and project it onto the board. But when you're doing something complicated like a mural, it takes a lot more steps. You got to do all those drawings, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Somebody else has a better idea. So actually, this is a canvas now inside our studio. We have a space about twice the size of this building here. With a big old wall in the back, it's 55 feet by 19 feet tall. And so we could stretch a large piece of canvas. So what we did is we painted that mural in our studio on a canvas, and then we went to the audio action in the gymnasium and put our scaffold up, and then we pasted our mural on the wall. So a mural is actually a painting on a wall. It could be a mosaic, possibly, or a tile, but we like to, you fit for the size. Say if you're going to do a mural on that back wall, you got to deal with doors, you got to deal with windows sometimes. So it's always good to design just for that one wall. It's not like you're taking something and pasting it. You already measured the wall. You know all the dimensions of everything. So you got to know how to, and this is a picture of it at the grand opening of the Patio Action. And now you see the mural is up on its space. So I was saying the difference, me and my partner, he's more mathematical, he's an engineer, and it was in design and in advertising and colors. So when we get together, we make a good team, because when you do murals, it's great to have two people. It's hard to do one all by yourself. This is my son Benjamin, and he's at an art show here with his paintings. He's got these pieces right here in that area. There's a castle with animals living in it. There's a wagon with a bunch of strangers and a hitchhiker on top. So I've been lucky enough that my children have sort of taken after me. They wanted to learn how to do their own artwork. These are close-ups of two of his paintings. The one on the right is a real interesting one. You know, I'm sorry these colors aren't there. You know, even you are probably having a hard time. It's a person wearing a mask, and there's buildings on it. And this is Benjamin's mural, first mural. Up on top, you see the whole wall. It's just a 6-foot wall, but it wraps for like 80 feet. And he had to work with his community, and he had to work with the mothers that were there. They used to clean up this area, and they wanted a mural to brighten it up. So they told him ideas, and he went home, sketched them. He went to the next meeting, and he showed what he had. Oh, they like that, but can you put something else pertaining to world peace or something like that? So you have a young girl with this glow of the world. Right here he's got a skateboarder that actually has a cane, but he's got a cane in one hand and he's on a skateboard. So then something's wrong with his legs. Well, there's a picture of me at the Pyramid of the Sun. So in 1970, we took a brand new little Volkswagen bus, Beetle, not the bus, the Beetle. And we drove all the way to Mexico City. So sometimes you got it, and we stopped along all these little towns all throughout Mexico. And every town had a sculpture, or they had a church that was as out of this world, or murals everywhere. We wanted to see the famous muralists take pictures of them. So it wasn't until 2007 that we went back there, and I finally was able to walk to the top of the pyramid. This is just a detail. Benjamin's mural, they gave him a really hard wall to do. It's not even a straight block wall. It's one of those block walls that looks like adobe or something. It's really hard to paint on. So you can see he's got his ladders, he's blocking in what he wants to do. It's a pretty big wall, 10 by 80 or so. And so they wanted people you could recognize, like Ruben Salazar, Edward James Olmos, even Gloria Molina's in there. But he put Martin Luther King, the figure. So here you can get the dimension of that wall. You know, when you're starting the wall, you know, sometimes you go to one side and then you're looking at that wall and it's like oh my God, it's going to take forever to do this wall. There you can see how rough it is. And so I did pitch in to help him get it started, lock it all in, because that's a major effort. You want to make sure everything's there so people can see what it's going to look like. And then Benjamin started detailing it all himself. There's a finished image of it. You can see Cesar Chavez looking over one shoulder is a peace dove. Looking over the other shoulder is a Mexican eagle. And there's a lot of other portraits of other famous people. Esteban Torres, they made a new high school in East LA. Gandhi is in there. Jaime Escalante, the famous teacher from Garfield High School, is in there. So when I came back from Europe, and I helped form the first art gallery in East LA on First Street and Gage. And then they wanted to do too much gallery stuff, and this one is the entire mural now done. I worked so hard on those slides to make it really rich with color. But it's too bright in this room. Our group, with me and Wayne, we call ourselves East Los Streetscapers. So it's sort of like East Los Angeles. So we invented a name, Streetscapers. So we're like landscape. And now I see a lot of times in the newspaper, they say streetscapes, doing this. People want to go design something, they start saying it's a streetscape. But we haven't seen anything of streetscapers yet. Okay, this is something else I did when I was with Gomez. I would design diplomas or awards that they could give out. We printed it like on parchment paper, and it looked really nice. Kind of like those scrolls that the LA City gives you. So our Telecu, we would get these things for Telecu, and they would present them. We would make awards for them. I did this illustration. It was a big illustration on architectural rendering. Somebody had an idea right there where across from the park, Plaza de la Raza, right there they eventually built the DMV. So some developer wanted to do a commercial center, said he wanted a pyramid right there for embassies, Latin American embassies would come. So I did a design for him, and it looked really, really nice. It never happened, it's really a far-out idea, I guess, or they didn't get the funding for it. This is a science fiction illustration for one of our murals, sort of like a space station, a Voyager. This is one of my first mural, Dreams of Flight, that were printed in the kids' book. That's me as a young man doing a van. I was one of the first guys to do a mural on a van. It was Quetzalcoatl on both sides. This guy came to us, because we were at the art gallery. He said, can you put some artwork on my van? He might have been the first guy. This is a tile piece. Ceramic tile, and I sort of kind of figured out my birthday, and I got a symbol for the year I was born, the Mexican agent, down there in the corner. But instead of the Mexican eagle, I made an American eagle. So I kind of wanted to come up with maybe like a Chicano symbol based on the Mexican emblem. So I had this picture of Benjamin, and he was just barely skating. It was a whole different look at that time, short hair, baggy pants. But I put him in a painting, in about 2 paintings, gallery paintings. So you can see him here at the bottom right. And then, it's too hard to see, but there's another skater zooming down one of the other roads up at Hop. But I've done a series based on Hollenbeck Park. I sold 3 of them to Cheech Marin, the actor. He loved those Hollenbeck pieces. Actually, this is again back to high school time. Okay, I call this one wishful thinking. There's a young man there with his girlfriend on the grass in the shade, and his friends are going by on their skateboards. So he looks up, and the girl has his hand on his arm, and everything. No, you're going to stay here. But Cheech bought this piece also. This is our most, the biggest mural closest to us in Lincoln Heights. That's on Daly and North Broadway. When we did that mural, it was a Crocker Bank. Now it's the East-West Bank. This one's the one on Soto Street that said Cesar Chavez. So you see the bride and groom, and we have an old bomb with shoes. So what we did is, let's pay a shoe store, so we put shoes in there. We got the graduate shining his shoes. Tuxedos behind me, or no, not tuxedos, graduating gown. We got a woman going to her, dressing for a wedding. We got her high heels. So we sort of developed the theme of shoes. So if you get a job for a store or someplace, focus on what people go there for, and then develop your own design. So we're back to the beginning already now. So it's the end of my talk. I'll be available. But I just wanted to let you know. Thank you so much. You know, try to do good in school, and it doesn't matter what profession you're going to go into. If you take some art, hopefully we get more art into the schools. Learn art. You'll know how to dress. You can go to fashion. You can go to computer illustration. Become an architect. It's all, everything's art related. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Mr. David Botello,